On a quiet Friday night in May 1957, a 73-year-old countess stepped off a Piccadilly line train at Gloucester Road Station. The platform was almost empty. Less than a minute later, she staggered into the lift, bleeding, whispering one word: bandits. She had survived 2 world wars and a concentration camp. She would not survive the London Underground. Her name was Countess Teresa Lubienska. And nearly 70 years later, no one has ever been charged with her murder. Teresa Lubienska was Polish aristocracy, but her life was anything but sheltered. She served as a nurse in the First World War. When the Nazis invaded Poland, she joined the resistance. She was arrested and sent first to Auschwitz, then to Ravensbrück. She survived both. After the war, she settled in London in a small flat in Cornwall Gardens, Kensington, and devoted herself to the welfare of fellow camp survivors and the Polish émigré community. Those who knew her described a woman of fierce dignity, upright, formal, unafraid. On the evening of the 24th of May, 1957, she attended a birthday gathering in Ealing. She left in good spirits and boarded an eastbound Piccadilly line train home. A fellow passenger, a Polish acquaintance, traveled with her part of the way, and later confirmed she was calm and well. At around 10 past 10, the train pulled into Gloucester Road. Countess stepped off, alone as far as anyone could establish, onto a platform that witnesses described as nearly deserted. What happened in the next 60 seconds has never been explained. Gloucester Road in 1957 had no cameras. The deep platforms were reached by lift, not escalator. When the lift gates opened at the top, the attendant found the Countess inside, clutching her chest, blood spreading through her coat. She had been stabbed 5 times. She managed a few words. Witnesses recalled her saying bandits, before collapsing. She died in the ambulance before it reached St. Mary Abbott's Hospital. The investigation that followed was, at the time, one of the largest murder inquiries London had ever seen. Scotland Yard interviewed thousands of people. Officers rode the Piccadilly line night after night, questioning passengers. Every ticket collected at Gloucester Road that evening was traced where possible. The murder weapon, believed to be a narrow-bladed knife, was never found, despite searches of the tunnels, the tracks, and the drains. And yet, for all that effort, detectives could not answer the most basic question: why? Nothing was stolen. Her handbag was untouched. This was not a robbery. So the theories began. The first pointed to the so-called Teddy Boys, gangs of young men who had made headlines that decade for violence in public places. Perhaps the Countess, formal and forthright, had rebuked a group of youths on the platform of the train. And one of them had lashed out. It fit the era's fears. But no witness ever placed a gang on that platform, and the precision of the attack, 5 wounds, delivered in seconds, in near silence, sat uneasily with a spontaneous outburst. The second theory was darker. The Countess was active in Polish exile politics at the height of the Cold War. She spoke publicly about the camps. She kept records. Some in the émigré community believed she had been silenced, a targeted killing dressed as random violence, carried out by someone who knew her rude home. Scotland Yard never found evidence to support it, but they never found evidence to rule it out either. And then there is the third possibility, perhaps the most unsettling of all, that a stranger followed an elderly woman off a train and killed her for no reason anyone will ever know. The inquest returned a verdict of murder by person or persons unknown. The file was never closed, but the leads went cold. The detectives retired, the witnesses grew old. Gloucester Road Station was modernized, its lifts replaced, its platforms resurfaced. Today, thousands of passengers pass through it every day, with no idea that in 1957, a woman who had endured Auschwitz and Ravensbrück was murdered there, in the heart of London, in under a minute, with no one watching. Teresa Lubienska survived history's worst. What she couldn't survive was a stranger on a platform, and a city that never saw a thing. If this case was new to you, that's exactly why this channel exists. The cases Britain forgot deserve to be remembered. Subscribe to The Cordon so her story, and stories like it, don't disappear into the tunnels for good. If you have thoughts on the 3 theories, leave them below. Respectfully as always,